Hello, good morning. I'm gonna go for a run today. I've not run, welcome to 2025 by the way, hello. I've not run in I think about 2 weeks and I need to run. It's very cold outside, it's currently -1 and I can see the roads, or not the roads, everything I can see looks icy. So I am a little bit worried that it's gonna be slippery and I'm just gonna have to be really careful. And I feel motivated enough to do a long run, but I know I shouldn't, partly because of the ice, partly because I don't have the time, and partly because I haven't run in 2 weeks. But I've definitely, over the last week or so, I've had so many things on Instagram. Obviously it tailors to you quite quickly and it's all about running and it's really got me motivated, which is great. Hopefully I can hold on to that motivation for the next 6 weeks. But I think what I'm gonna do, because I'm running short on time, is I'm gonna do a half-hour run. I'm hoping I'll get to 5 kilometers, but I'm not expecting it. I'm gonna try and only do half an hour. I'm gonna try and be really strict with myself on that, but I am gonna try and run to 3 kilometers. Up until now, the best I've got is like 2.5, so let's see if we can make it to 3. I'm not really in the mood. It's not that I'm not in the mood to run, I'm just not in the mood to get changed. But I have got some new headphones. I don't know if you've seen this in a vlog yet, you may not have. I finally bought some Bluetooth headphones, so I'm excited to try those out. I got them last night and I didn't charge them overnight, so I'm hoping they've got enough battery in them that they'll last half an hour. Probably should have planned that better. Maybe I'll charge them now for the next half hour before I go out. But I'm very excited to give those a whirl. I have been struggling with a runny nose, not terribly runny, but just every so often, which I know gets worse when I run, so that's annoying, but I'll just bring tissues and we will manage, hopefully. All right, I will see you after. Hello, some of this may be repeating from my vlog, but I don't know which is coming first and whatever. I was gonna wear a long sleeve under the top because it's quite cold outside, but I just went outside and it's not as cold as I thought it was, so I think I'm gonna take it off. Then I'm gonna do like 5 minutes of warm up because it's already later than I would have liked, and then I'm gonna go for a run. Let's do this thing. I am in the mood to run though. It does feel like a nice day to run. And it's been so long. Oh, I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. And even if it doesn't, I'm only doing half an hour, so it's fine. I hope you're happy now that you're choosing this. You too. I hope it brings you bliss. Wow. Oh, how do I pause my music? I ended up doing 33 minutes, but I reached 5 kilometers. It was actually less than 33, I think it was 32.5, which I am pretty pleased with. I am going to cool down, shower, and then talk to you because showering is my priority because I want my hair to dry as quickly as possible. But suffice it to say, that was probably my best run so far. Not my easiest, but my best. And I love the headphones, they made a big difference. But right, I'm gonna cool down properly and I will speak to you after. Alright, I have showered and washed my hair. Obviously, I've also just put on a laundry because otherwise it won't be ready before Shabbat. And now I can sit down and chat to you. I've also just put a bread roll in the oven because it had been in the freezer and I'm gonna have that for lunch. But let's chat about this run. What a start to 2025. When I started running the first probably, I don't know, 400 meters, I felt like I was absolutely flying. I felt like I was going so fast. And in fact, let me check how fast I was actually going. It was probably like a 6 kilometer per hour pace, but still not per hour, 6 minutes per kilometer. One day I'll figure out how the pacing works. Yeah, I was going about this thing seems to have not registered the start, which means I ran even more than I thought I had. How is that possible? This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I don't understand what's happened here. It doesn't seem to have registered my first, journey to the park. It seems to start at the park, which just isn't even a little bit true. What? It doesn't even seem to start at the start of the park. This is really odd because it's saying that my first kilometer was much further than where I did my first kilometer. What? But it's making me wonder if I did more than 1 kilometer or more than 5. But there's no way. I mean, I ran for half an hour. There's no way I did 6 kilometers. I think there's just a problem with the way it was tracked. Yeah, it's saying the 4 kilometer, like I can see on the map, it's not where I hit the 4 kilometer. I'm so confused by this, because it is saying I reached 5. Well, anyway, on here it's showing that the first kilometer I was more or less consistently around the 5-minute mark, which makes sense because I had the voice saying I did my first kilometer in 5:01. Although I didn't run a different route than usual, but it did say I hit my 1 kilometer mark sort of 200 meters earlier than where I normally hit it. So I have a feeling it may have lied to me. But anyway, according to this, after about 1.2 kilometers, I dropped my pace down to about 7 minutes, which seems unlikely. On here it says 6:30 for my second kilometer, which seems more likely. I was at about 11 minutes when I hit my second kilometre, so that would make sense. But honestly, none of this makes any sense. I'm pretty pleased though, because my 5th kilometre, which was all more or less uphill, and I was walking a fair bit, my pace was still 7:43, which for me feels like a massive achievement. I know to a lot of people that's quite slow, but to me, to be able to do the uphill and keep it still at 7:43, which is faster than a lot of my initial runs were, I'm very happy with that. So overall, my average according to this, but I do have a feeling something's been measured wrong. My average tempo was 6:31 and the time it took me to do 5 kilometers was 32:38, which I'm pretty pleased with. And in fact, that's got to be one of my fastest. I didn't get any badges though, which is odd. How have I done a faster 5 kilometer than that? I just don't believe that. I've just seen my fastest was 32:22. That's annoying. But that's not important. The thing that's important to me is the fact that I was running consistently for 4 kilometers. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet. I'd said today that my goal was to run 3 kilometers without stopping, although my actual short-term goal is to run 5 kilometers without stopping. As I said, that first kilometer I felt like I was running quite fast. And then before I even got to the end of the kilometer, I was like, I'm quite tired. I don't know if I'm going to get to 1 kilometer, let alone 2, let alone 3. But I did push myself, obviously, and I did slow down as well. My biggest problem was my heart. Like, it was just beating so fast and I felt like I couldn't breathe properly. It felt like an anxiety attack. Not quite as bad, obviously, and not with the associated, like, emotions, but just in terms of my breathing. So I really did try to focus on slowing down my pace because, again, that's something I've seen a lot on Instagram. I've seen so much on Instagram about how you should be running slower and like have your heart rate at a certain level, which I can't measure, and how you should be able to have a conversation for the most part of your run. Excuse me. To be fair, I've never tried it, but I don't know if I would be able to have a conversation. So I was really telling myself, like, I want to try and get to 3 kilometers. I'm struggling to get to 1. I need to slow down. And so I did. And then I got to my 3rd kilometer and I can't remember what pushed me to keep going. I think I was just like, I can do more. Or maybe I was listening to a song and trying to get to the end of the song. That might have been the case. One of the things I've seen a couple of times pop up on Instagram is people saying like, oh, if you want to do an hour-long run, just listen to Taylor's 10 Minutes All Too Well version 10 times, 6 times. I don't really listen to Taylor Swift, sorry, and I don't really know, well, I don't know that song at all, and I don't think I would enjoy listening to it 10 times or 6 times, but I did think maybe I could listen to Defying Gravity a bunch of times. And over the last few days, I have my regular playlist and I play it. And anytime I hear a song that I think could go into my running playlist, I add it to that. But now what I've started doing is also looking at how long it is and being like, okay, so I just, like, this is a 4-minute long song. So if I were to listen to this twice, you know, blah, blah, blah. So on this run, I was kind of focusing on like, oh, I just need to get to the end of the song. And then it started playing, oh, maybe that's what it was. I think it was playing, oh, what's it called? Come From Away. The one that they sing towards the end that goes like, somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So I'm doing just that, and I'm passing a hat. It's the one where they're, spoiler alert, flying home. And it's a surprisingly long song. I didn't realise that until I was running it, and I was like, oh, this is still going. But I think that was when I hit my 3rd kilometer and there was still like half the song left. So I was like, I'm gonna get to the end of the song. And then I think it was playing, in fact, I can check, but I think it was a Dutch Kinderen voor Kinderen medley. Yes, that's exactly it. It played the 38 Planes reprise song from Come From Away and then the medley from Kinderen voor Kinderen, which I think must be like 4 or 5 minutes long. Let me check. Exactly 4 minutes. And I think by the time that song finished, I was at like 3.7, I think. And so I was like, I can do 300 more meters. Like, come on, I can get to 4. And I was struggling, like really struggling. But I did it and I got to 4 and I was thrilled. And then I did walk, as I say, the 5th kilometer, but not all of it. And obviously, like, overall, it was still better. I am 100% sure that I would have beaten my 5 kilometer best time if I'd stayed in the park in like on a flat surface. But because I went out and I went up a hill, and I did run up the hill for more than I usually do, but because I did that, I then missed out by 20 something seconds. Oh, not even 20 seconds. The one other thing I want to check is how consistent my pace was in those first 4. Really quite consistent. I'm very pleased with that because usually it's all over the place. Although I have anyway been getting better. But my first obviously was 5 kilometers, although who knows if it measured it right. Second was 6:31, third was 6:35, and fourth was 6:43. I'm really pleased with that. I'm really, really pleased with that. And now I have absolutely no excuse not to run 4 kilometers non-stop. Well, that's not true. Your body goes through ups and downs, but that feels good, sort of now that I'm on the 6-week stretch, that I can do that. But I do really feel like I need to get back into longer runs as well. I'm really hopeful I can do a longer run on Sunday, but I have an audition to do, and if I can't get it done tomorrow night, then I'll need to do it Sunday morning, which means my running time is out the window. But yeah, I feel really good. Really, really strong start to 2025. And hopefully it's sort of the tone, it sets the tone for the next 6 weeks. All right, I'll see you hopefully on Sunday. Bye. Hello, I went for another run this morning, hence why my hair is so messy and sweaty and gross, but it's all right. It's quite curly actually. And because of what I did on Friday, I was very strict with myself and I said I had to get to 4 kilometers. And I tried to start off slower so that I would be able to last longer. And in the end, I run 4.7-ish kilometers, maybe 4.75 without stopping, which is amazing. On the one hand, I probably could have pushed to 5, but on the other hand, I was quite sore and tired. My ankles were really sore this time. It's always something else. But the entire 4.75 kilometers, although running-wise, like, you know, it was tiring, my legs didn't hurt. The only thing, again, was my lungs. I could just feel, like, again, that almost anxiety attack kind of thing. And I've found that when I think about it, it's worse. So I need to really try and, like, not think about it. I am loving my headphones. They are fantastic, although my ears did get quite warm, but you know, that's okay. Aside from running 4 kilometers non-stop, my goal for today was 40 minutes, and that's because I really do want to push to do longer, but I also didn't want to do too much. Like realistically, I left earlier as well than usual. I probably could have done an hour, but because it's, you know, I want to be gentle with myself. I don't want to injure myself at all now, ever, but especially now. In the end, I did 7 kilometers in 47 minutes. And it's funny because 7 kilometers is only 2 kilometers more than 5. And 5 now very much feels like, okay, that's just my standard. That's just what I'm gonna do when I do a run. Whereas 7 feels really long. And it's just funny to me how it feels so different. But I was supremely consistent. Over the 7 kilometers, my pace was 6:43, my average. But for the first 5 kilometers, my average pace was, I think, about 6:22 or so. The first kilometer was 6:09, so it was still faster than the rest, because then the second was 6:30, the third was 6:32, and the fourth was 6:25, and the fifth was 6:39. Which is really interesting because whilst I was running, the voice for the first kilometer said 6:18, second kilometer, I think it said like 6:21, third kilometer it was 6:22, and then third kilometer was 6:23, and then I think fourth kilometer was 6:25 or something. So it's interesting that it tells me different than what it's recording, but I'm quite pleased to have it so consistent. And even my 6th kilometer was 6:56, so it wasn't that much slower. I did do more walking, both in the 6th and the 7th. The 7th is a lot slower, but that was also, again, the uphill bit, so fair enough. But I'm really pleased with that. I'm very pleased that I got to almost 5 kilometers, so close to 5 kilometers without stopping, and that I did a total of 7. And I think what my focus is going to be now is just to get to about 5 kilometers and then keep pushing how long my overall runs are. I really, really, really want to get to 10. I'm trying to do the maths of if hypothetically I were able to maintain a steady 6:30 pace over the course of 10 kilometers, how fast would I do my run? Because in my head it's like 63 minutes because you times it by 10, but that's wrong. It's not an hour 3, it's different. It's definitely 60 minutes, and then why am I struggling with, because it's half. So it would be an hour 5, is that right? If I could do that, that would be below the average, and that is my goal at the moment. Or is my goal under an hour 10? I can't remember. Speaking of, actually, this arrived, and I don't know what it is, and I'm not 100% sure if it's to do with the running, but I don't think it's something that I ordered, and it says something about a beanie, and I know that the cancer research run said they would send a beanie if you fundraised a certain amount, so I'm wondering if that's what it is. Ooh, it's a bunch of stuff, and it is. Okay, that's really like a nice beanie. Ooh, look at that. Wonderful. And I don't really have a beanie like this. I do have a navy one, but I don't know where it's gone. Oh, and I love that it's got the cancer research. I love that. But hang on, there is more in here. Ooh, okay. I don't know what this is. Is this like a scarf? I think so. Yeah, it looks like it's a neck thing. I'm not gonna pop it around now because I'm quite warm, but that's quite useful because my nose can get quite cold. Although, is it washable? I don't know. It's nice material though, it's very nice. And it's got all like the London, I don't know if you can see all the London like monuments and things. I love that. That's great. That makes me very happy. And then there was like a t-shirt or something. Yeah, a t-shirt. This is so cool. Oh, a long sleeve. Very nice. And it's even got the fact that it's the anniversary as well. Oh, I love that. I'm very happy with that. It looks quite big though. What size is this? It's a medium. I must have picked that, but it's very long. Oh, that's so exciting. So thank you to those of you who have already donated. There is more to donate if you want to. I think at the moment I'm like £20 off reaching my goal, but also if we surpass the goal, that's absolutely fine. And I think by the time you're watching this, I'm probably like 2 weeks away from the run. So please, please, if you can, donate. Even just a couple of pounds would be greatly appreciated. Link below. I'm gonna shower now, and I will see you all probably at some point in the coming week for another run. Bye! Good morning. I'm gonna go for a run. It's sort of 10:45-ish, a bit earlier than normal, which is great. I've done a bit of a warm-up, you know, like 4 minutes worth, but something. And I'm just gonna try and do, my goal for today, if I can, is to do 5 kilometers straight running, no stopping, no walking, and that's it. And then I come home. I don't want to, I really want to do longer runs, but I don't want to do too much in a row and too intense. So because it's been a few days since I've run, I'm gonna do 5 kilometers today, trying not to stop at all. And then I've also got tomorrow off, so I'll try and do a longer run tomorrow. And I might have time to go for a run on Friday. It depends a little bit. I finish work at 1:30 and I think Shabbat comes in at like 3:40. So if I'm quick enough, I should be able to go for a run on Friday as well. But I'm not holding out hope for it. So that's why I'm focusing on today and tomorrow mainly, because I'm not gonna have time on Sunday because I am working a 12-hour shift on Sunday. And I've just got a message to say I ordered some new shoes and they should be arriving today. So fingers crossed they come, fingers crossed they fit. I really hope they fit and that they're good and everything. And I'll keep you updated about that when they come. They should be coming in the next sort of 4 hours or so. So we'll see. All right, I'm hopefully gonna be back in the next 45 minutes or so, probably less, hopefully less. See ya. Hello. I'm very sweaty, but I did 5 kilometers without stopping, 31 minutes. We're getting closer to the 30-minute goal. I was once again really struggling after the sort of around the 2nd kilometer, I would say. And all I could think in my head was, I know on all these Instagram videos, I may have mentioned this already, they keep saying once you get past the 3rd kilometer, that's when it gets easier. The first 3 kilometers are tough. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but I just told myself I need to get to 3 at least and then see how we fare. And then told myself we gotta get to 4 at least, and then I somehow made it to 5. I finished 5 in the park and I literally finished by the exit. So I stopped my running app thing and just said, I'm calling it here, I'm just gonna walk home. But as I've mentioned before, so I'm gonna stretch while I'm talking to you. Let me bring you down maybe. But as I've mentioned before, there is a hill that I need to go up. And so I decided I gave myself some time to walk and then I tried to sprint about 100, 150 meters up that hill just to like prove to myself that I could, I guess. And that went really well, so that was good. And then I did another sprint like closer to home, again, just 100 meters or so, but just something to say to myself, I can go further. So if my ankles are really sore today, my ankles and my calves, but the calves I think I can stretch out, and that only happened sort of as I was walking home, not even during the running, but my ankles were sore from about the 3rd kilometer onwards. So that's not ideal. But if my body is in an okay state tomorrow, I think I'm gonna aim to run 6 kilometers and then walk run another like 2 maybe. I think getting to 8 or 8.5 would be good. We'll see how we do. It's nice that if my average pace now is around 6:10, call it, that makes me feel like it makes it easier to run more, if that makes sense, because it doesn't take as much of my day. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes sense to me. One thing I'm really proud of with today's run is that I think once again my pace was really consistent. I did purposely try and run the 1st kilometer slower because again that's something I've seen all over Instagram about not starting off too strong. Oh what? Something strange. Hang on. It hadn't yet taken today's run because it was saying 7 kilometers. I was like, that can't be right. Did it not measure? What's happened to today's run? Why can I not see it? It's not coming up. I pressed stop on it. It was there. Maybe it just needs a moment. Oh, I hope so. I hope it shows up. I mean, look, I know I did 5 kilometers in 31 minutes, but I would like it to be here. Oh, that would make me so sad. Oh, I can add one manually. So if it doesn't show up, I'll just add it manually. But it's a shame I can't see the breakdowns. Right, we'll see if it shows up, and if it doesn't, I will just add it manually. All right, I'm gonna cool down and shower, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow and hopefully figure out what's happened to my run. I'll be really sad if it's deleted. All right, See you tomorrow, hopefully. Hello, I got up a bit earlier this morning, much earlier than I was expecting. I got up before 9, which was a surprise to me. And it's now 10:15. I've done a bit of a warm-up. I'm doing a little bit more, which is why I'm bouncing around a little. And I'm gonna go for a run. I'm gonna really try and do a long run today. I'm gonna try and, again, run 5 kilometers and then somehow maybe even run 6, that would be amazing, and then get to 8.5 altogether. That's my goal. Hopefully it tracks it this time. What's weird about yesterday is I then manually input the fact that I did a 5 kilometer run, and I have a run club with a friend who doesn't really run, but on there it's calculated as if I've done 2 5 kilometer runs yesterday. So I wonder if this second run will show up at some point, or not the second run, the actual run I did will show up at some point. It may not be lost forever. How long does it think 8.5 is gonna take me? Just over an hour. I actually said to myself I was gonna set it for an hour, and then I thought no, because then I don't have any incentive to run more. I'll be more, there's no reason why I shouldn't just walk if my goal is an hour, whereas if my goal is a distance, then the more I run, the faster I get to that distance. Actually, just out of curiosity, how long does it think 10 kilometers will take me? An hour 12. Okay, so I want to get under an hour 10, so we need to do better. My shoes, according to my emails, say they've arrived, but I couldn't see them, so I'm gonna check again today and see if they show up. I really want them to not be lost, and I really want to have them. But anyway, let's go for this run, hope for the best, and I'll see you in about an hour. Oh, an hour's long. It's a long time to be out, but it won't feel as long once I'm there, hopefully. All right, let's do it. Let's go. .5, starting to walk now. Oh, 8. I did 9 kilometers. Oh wow, I am hot and sweaty, but I'm thrilled. I'm so proud of myself, and my shoes arrived, so I will look at everything and talk to you after. Wow, I'm very happy with myself. I tried to vlog bits as well while I was running, not bits, but like every kilometer. I forgot the 7th, I think, but aside from that, and the 9th, aside from that, I caught every moment, and I was running a lot, but I'll talk to you after. I'm gonna cool down, shower, do all the things, and then I will speak to you. But yay, I'm so excited. Hello. All right, let's talk about this run. It's been a few hours. It's been quite a few hours, but let's talk about it. I'm so proud of myself. It was so good. I started off really slow. I felt like I was going really slow, but I think I've mentioned already on here, I've been told via Instagram that it's better to start slow, so that's what we're doing. And again, sort of between the 2nd and 3rd kilometer, I was struggling and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. The 1st kilometer felt really easy. That was great. I was not used to that at all. But as I say, after that, it did again start to get harder. And I just told myself, no, I got to get to the 3 kilometer mark because it apparently gets easier from here. And it did. It did get easier, which is crazy. It's weird how that works. But I feel like I'm finally figuring out all those things that say, you need to be able to still have conversation while running, like your heart rate shouldn't be that high. And I feel like I'm finally finding the pace where it's not as hard for me. And I got to 5 kilometers and I was like, yeah, I can keep going. I don't need to stop yet. And then I got to 6 and I was like, I think I can still keep going. I knew I wouldn't make it to 7, but I was like, I wanna keep trying. There was something that happened. I can't remember what it was, but something happened that got me to keep going anyway. I don't know if my music stopped playing or there was something. So I was running whilst trying to fix my phone, and I think that's what it was. And then by the time I got to wherever I was, I knew that I was at like 6.2, 6.3. So I was like, I can get to 6.5. And I did, and I probably could have pushed myself to 7, but I think I really would have struggled. And by getting to 6.5, I was like, this is nice because then the last 2 kilometers I'll run and walk, but it's less long. And it feels great to be pushing myself. I've gone from maximum running 2, maybe 3 kilometers to running 4 point something to running 5 to running 6.5 in the course of like, I would say a week and a half. So that feels really, really good. And I'm really proud of myself for that. And even the last 2 kilometers, and in fact, it was the last 2.5 because I ended up doing 9, I was still able to run. I mean, I did stop and walk bits, but my pace was still pretty good. Let's have a look. It did save this time. I kept checking. I took screenshots of everything so that if it did disappear, I would still have the details. Also, my 9 kilometers was under an hour. It was like 59 minutes something, which means that I really should be able to do the 10 kilometers under an hour 10. and potentially probably even under an hour 6, which is really what my goal was. It was 9.02 kilometers in 59 minutes and 40 seconds. So I'm really pleased with that. And my average pace, this is the thing that's really amazing to me. All right, here we go. First kilometer 6:12, which is a bit slower than what I had been doing, but it's consistent, you'll see why. Second kilometer 6:26, third kilometer 6:31, fourth kilometer 6:15, we've gone down quite a bit, but again, as I said, it did get easier there. Fifth kilometer 6:29, sixth kilometer 6:31, the seventh kilometer was still 6:55, so it wasn't that much slower. My eighth kilometer was 6:31, how did that happen? And my ninth kilometer was a bit slower, that was 7:36. But that's also when I was going uphill, so that would have slowed me down anyway. And I did try and run again bits uphill. But that 8th kilometer is really mad to me because I wasn't running the whole time and yet it's still 6:31. But I did run faster. I did more like sprints. You know, I forced myself to run faster and then walk more as well. So obviously that balanced out somehow. But like that's so amazingly consistent and I'm really, really pleased with that. There you can see the graph. It's definitely evening out until the end, obviously. And I mean, my high speed was 4:50, that's pretty good. Yeah, the bit where I was sprinting, I was doing a pace of, I think, around 5:50 for a little while. So that's obviously, it's still not super fast, but it's faster. And I did my fastest 5K, which is not true. And this is proving to me that it didn't record yesterday's for some reason, because it said my fastest 5K was 31:49, but I know that yesterday's was 31:06. So that's not totally true. And I also have my longest run today in terms of distance and in terms of time, but we knew that. I'm really, 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 really proud of myself for today. I'm just so happy. I'm doing things that I didn't think I'd ever be able to do, and I'm doing them. And I'm really glad that I started running in September and really did allow myself so much time to get ready for the race, because I probably could have done it more intensively and probably been better and faster by now, but I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much, and I don't think I would have figured out the best ways to do things. I don't know, I'm probably still not doing things in the best possible way, but I feel like having allowed myself the time to sort of figure out what works for me and what my heart rate's like, and doing the sprint walks, and then now being able to sort of mentally, I think it's more the mental challenge than anything, being able to say I can keep going, I feel like that's really worked for me. So yeah, I'm very happy. But now I have got my shoes. And I don't know what happened because it said they were delivered yesterday, and they definitely weren't there yesterday, and they definitely weren't there when I left the house, but they were there when I came back from the run, so that was great. There's a tab here, which is very funny. It's done like a lace, which I like, or like a zip, I suppose. But it makes it wonderfully easy to open the box, which is very nice. Oh, there's a box inside the box. How fun. I panicked for a second because it said 6.5, but it's a US size 6.5, so that should be okay. I really, really, really hope they fit. Dun, da, 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 da. I mean, you couldn't see anything. I don't know why I shared that. Ooh, I like them. They look cool. It's been a while since I've had like nice coloured shoes, because the ones I have, I bought, I think 3 years ago. Yeah, over 3 years ago. I think it was November 2021. And at the time in the shop, I did not want to buy them because they didn't have a good colour option that I liked. And I'm not usually so picky when it comes to colours, and that's why I ended up getting them. But it was a shame, and it's nice to have, like, I love the way these look. These look really cool. Oh, look at that. That's fancy. That's interesting. They've got that, like, on the outside, but not on the inside. Interesting. Oh, I so hope these fit, because that would be amazing. And they were even, like, listed as running shoes, so... Oh, I can't see. Let's try them on. Oh, I love the base. Oh, I like these. There's the other one. Oh, and they smell so good as well. That new shoe smell. Lovely. They're so pretty. I really, really, really hope they fit. Right, let me get some socks on and see how we do. I've just put my left foot in and I haven't even tied it up yet, but it feels like it fits perfectly. I don't dare say it, but it does feel good. Oh, they feel good. I think they feel good. The right foot feels a little bit like it's low on the back. I mean, the left foot does as well, but it's more prominent on the right. I'm really not sure. The left foot feels perfect. The right feels too big. But you can't request different sized shoes. As in, I can't request to swap my right one for a 5 instead of 4.5. No, I would need a 4. Anyway. I've accidentally just torn that bit off. So I hope I don't need to return them. I don't think I'm going to. I'm gonna keep them because I like the look of them, I like the feel of them, I like the way it sits on my left foot, and hopefully my right foot will be okay. It's really interesting though, because so far my left foot and leg is the one that always ends up more sore after a run. My ankle, my calf, all of it is more sore on my left foot. So maybe that one needs more support at the moment, and hopefully, you know, if we switch between the shoes, hopefully it'll be okay. I'm just wondering if I should swap both for a 4, but I really think that's going to be too small on the toes. I think these are good. I'm going to have to break them in on like short runs though, which is annoying, or walks, I guess. Maybe to work. Maybe that's a good idea. Although I don't really like wearing trainers, you know, if I'm not training. Maybe it's time to go to a dance class, because it's been a while. Anyway, I think I'm going to keep them. I think I'm happy with them. I am happy with them. I just wish, I always have problems with shoes and any clothes, but especially shoes, always. I just wish I could buy shoes that fit first time round. Anyway, yay, I'm happy. I am happy. I'll see you maybe tomorrow for a run. We'll see. Hello. I decided not to go for a run today, but what I did do first of all was wear the shoes to work and try and, you know, wear them in and see if they're comfortable. Obviously, by wearing them to work, I have committed to buying them and keeping them. And I think they will be great. I do think the right foot is still a little bit too big, but like only tiny amounts, and only at the back. Like at the front, it feels fine. So hopefully I'll just adjust to them. That's what I'm hoping. I do think that's what usually happens. I do think usually if I'm forced to wear a pair of shoes, I very quickly end up loving them, usually. So I wore them to work, and then I decided to walk back from work because I had to go to the shops anyway, and that's sort of like 2/3 of the way. So I thought if I can walk to the shop and then walk the rest of the way, it doesn't feel as long, and you know, that way I'm breaking in the shoes more, but I'm also not forcing myself to go for a run because I knew I couldn't be bothered really. So I've done something, some form of movement, and I did try and run a little bit, but I was wearing a jumper and a coat and I was very warm, and I had my bag, so that didn't last very long, but I did something. And I think what I'm going to have to do with these shoes is do like a really short, maybe a 20-minute run or something, just to break them in, but also, you know, to not be in too much pain after, if that makes sense. I might do that on Sunday because I now start work at 12, so if I get up early enough and do a 20-minute run, like that should be all right, hopefully. But anyway, I'm going to get on with the rest of my day, so hopefully I will see you on Sunday. Yay. Hello, I woke up earlier than I was expecting today, which is great because it means I do have time for a run. I am only going to do 20 minutes, but I have got my new shoes on, so I'm going to try and just run, you know, constantly for 20 minutes, non-stop, running up the hill as well at the end, and try and break in the shoes and do some form of exercise before work. I was going to say something else, but I've forgotten, so I'm just going to go, and I will see you on the flip side. Oh yeah, I was going to say, when I put in the timer for 20 minutes, the app thinks it's going to take me less, that I'll only get to do 2.77 kilometers, which I don't think is right. I think I've been able to do 3 kilometers at least in that time. Maybe even 3.5? Maybe that's a stretch. We'll see. I'm going to try and run a bit faster though, because I know it's a shorter run, although I will have the uphill at the end, so we shall see. We'll see what happens. But it's not about anything, it's just about the fact that I'm moving and running for 20 minutes today. That's all I care about. And breaking in the shoes, of course, and hopefully they'll be good. All right, let's go. For some reason, I did more or less exactly 20 minutes, but for some reason that was a really tough run. I think the ending made it tough, that uphill. Whew, I ran it all, but I struggled. And my left leg is sore, and it was sore as soon as I started, so that's not good. And I'm gonna have to stretch it and look after it. I now have 2 days off from running, so that's good at least. The shoes are comfortable, but definitely need wearing in. I can feel my toenails are hurting. Right, I'm gonna do what I can to save my leg. Oh, it's really sore. And I'll speak to you after if I have time. I do need to sort of rush a little bit to get to work, but I should have time to talk to you, otherwise I'll talk to you when I get back from work. But we did it, and that's the main thing. I did 3.3 kilometers. I'm happy enough with that. All right, I'll see you later. Hello, it is Tuesday evening, but I never spoke about Sunday morning, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna finish up this video, and then we'll start a new video tomorrow when I'm hoping to go for a run, and hopefully talk a little bit about strength training, because that's something I feel I haven't done enough of, and I'm starting to get inspired to do. So that will be next week's video. And before I delve into Sunday's run, I do just want to say that by the time you're watching this, we are very close to the actual run. I think it must be less than a month. It's probably about 2 or 3 weeks. So please, if you can, donate. I know I say it a lot, I'll shut up about it, in very soon. But I'm not going to have many more opportunities to say it. And as I've said before, even just £1 or £2 would mean so much to me and to the charity. So as always, link is below. And yeah, I would just really appreciate it. But right, let's have a look at Sunday's run. So my intention for Sunday, I can't quite remember. I think it was either to do 3 kilometers non-stop or 20 minutes non-stop. And definitely to run up the hill. Like that was the main goal. And I did. I did 3.3 kilometers, just over, in just over 21 minutes. And I'm really happy with that. I probably could have done a faster pace, but I did feel tired. And also, actually, that's the main thing. I was trying to break in the shoes and I still have cuts on my feet from the way it pushed my feet against each other and the nails and stuff. I do think once I've broken into them, the shoes will be great, and I love the way they look, which is like a win, such a win. But I think I'm gonna have to use those shoes, like I'm gonna have to break them in with shorter runs and then continue with the shoes I have for the longer, more intense ones. But it did feel good to do a shorter run. It felt nice. And it felt nice that I could listen and, 20 minutes I stopped, and that I forced myself to run up the hill, even though I was definitely slower. In fact, I'm curious about the pace at that point. I wonder if I can see it. My slowest pace was 8 kilometers, but it was only for like a second. Not 8 kilometers, what's it called? 8 minutes per kilometer. And that was between 17:30 minutes in and 17:45. So like 15 seconds of a slower pace, and then it goes back up to like 7. So I think that's pretty decent to even, on the hill to be doing 8. I've been seeing people on Instagram who run sort of an 8 kilometer or slower pace forever. Like that's just their pace naturally. And it's made me realize that maybe I'm not quite as slow as I think I am. I'm not fast by any means, but I don't think I'm quite a slower runner. But also, oh my gosh, let me tell you about Instagram on how it's made me change my mentality. A lot of the videos I see are about the slower runners or the people who take longer to finish marathon, whatever. Or even the ones who take longer to do a 5K, like anything like that. And I see all these people saying, I used to compare myself to all the other runners, and people would be so like, what's the word? Like the running police, they called it, and the pace police. And I can't remember quite the phrases that they use on Instagram. But I am so grateful I didn't know about any of that when I started. And I'm so grateful that up until now, at least, I've not had any of that happen to me. I've not had anyone say, oh, you're so slow, 6:15 per kilometer is slow. It probably is. I probably could do better if I pushed myself harder, but I don't want to. I want to enjoy running. I don't want to be the fast. The only good thing about being faster is that it's over quicker. That's my mentality. And that genuinely helps me run more rather than walking, because I'm like, if I run more, then it's over sooner. But I am so grateful that I've not been exposed to all that, to that side of the running world. I just don't get the point of saying that. Who does that help? And like, what does that benefit? How does it help anyone? I don't understand people being nasty, full stop, or judgmental or anything like that. But suffice it to say, I'm just grateful that I have not been having to deal with that, and that I am just able to enjoy my runs. And I'm really glad I'm documenting this process, and I really hope that it means that there are people out there who can watch these videos and see like, oh, you can just start from nothing and have no idea what you're doing, and make it work somehow. And also that like, I kept saying I ran 5 kilometers when really most of it was walking. Well, maybe not most of it, but a lot of it was walking the first few times I did that. I think I've only run 5 kilometers once, maybe twice, like fully run. And I didn't even question that. I was like, I'm still running because, majority of what I'm doing is, or even if not majority of what I'm doing is running, the exercise overall is running. But apparently there are people out there who say even if you walk for half a second, it's no longer a run. I just don't understand that mentality. I just think get out there, do what you can, and improve as you go along. And even if you don't want to improve, just keep moving, Why not? I feel like that's probably my motto, my mantra. Just keep moving. What's that quote? Any step forward is still forward? That's definitely not the quote. It's like going forward slowly is still going forward, as opposed to standing still. I can't remember it, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, that's the end of this video. As I said, first of all, please donate if you can. And also there will be hopefully the next video not all about, but with a substantial amount of strength training and learning about all that, because I don't know anything and I've just been neglecting it and avoiding it because I don't want to. So see how I fare. Let's find out together. I'll see you soon.